I did say I wanted Grett and Ali to explore their common experience with hate comments and all, but I did not expect it to go down this way. Apparently, people have been way harsher on Grett than on Ali. It seems Ali received nothing more than plain old criticism, the kind everyone receives online, whereas with Grett, they got to the point of telling her she doesn't deserve to live, which is a little bit too much, but also realistic because people say these things online. So I was kinda hoping that this whole conversation would help Ali put things into perspective and change her for the better, yet she ended up doing the complete opposite. Today, she was insufferable. She officially became worse than Jake in every single possible way. It seems like she's now competing with the sole purpose of eliminating Jake. She doesn't even care about the money or fame or respect of fans online, no. She just wants Jake out. And that's not very honorable. She somehow managed to get less and less likable as the series went on. In fact, at first, I actually felt bad for Hunter when Ali seemed ready to break up with him, but now I'm actively hoping she does, because he may not be perfect, but he deserves way better than her. Perhaps Tess. I don't love this side of Ali, but at the very least, she's way more interesting compared to her Season 2 self, so yeah, at least she has that going on for her. On the other hand though, Grett is becoming a better character and person by the minute, and watching her journey is just so rewarding, gratifying I'd say. It really shows how they planned ahead for Grett's character arc. When All-Stars started, it seemed like, after episode 9 of season 1, Grett just had it all figured out, had learned to accept herself, and was over her insecurities, but after just a little bit of digging, it was clear it was all a facade, all a lie, and she was as insecure, of course, as ever before. So what seemed like a very introspective and life-changing chat with Fiore ended up changing absolutely nothing in the end. Perhaps because the little girl never really had Grett's best interest at heart. Only by befriending Gabby, someone who did genuinely care for her, did Grett finally start changing. In fact, she later confronts Alec and blames him for siding with Yul and for never defending her when the guy would mistreat her. So, to be fair, Alec did feel bad for her and occasionally did mess with Yul just to give him a taste of his own medicine, so he might have cared just a tiny little bit, but definitely not enough to actually help her out. And even with Rhea, the time she talked to Grett, trying to open her eyes to Yul's abusive personality, she made it clear that she wasn't doing it because she liked her, but because she so did not like him in the slightest. So I kinda see why Grett would be mad at them. I bet she'll get rid of one of them in the next episode, possibly Rhea. Crystal informs the campers that an idol has been hidden in the forest, so everyone goes looking for it and Grett has already found it. I just can't believe how easy it is to find these things. Last time Gabby found it in like a fraction of a second and she wasn't even looking for it, and now Grett was like, where would the idol be? Of course, on top of a tree. Oh, there it is, the first tree I look at, it's right there. Because she couldn't get it herself though, and she didn't want the villains to have it, she tells Connor and Jake where it is, just to gain their trust, making a little bit of a deal with them, and I can't tell you how happy I am to finally see her strategize again. Hopefully, she's learned from her mistakes, and she won't give her allies' trust for granted again, but I'm just so glad she's back at it. However, I don't know about you guys, but it just feels a little weird to me to introduce the totem this late into the season, especially given how this one is 21 episodes long. I just expected there to be at least 2 totems. They could have introduced the first one around episode 3 or so and had, I don't know, Fiore use it to eliminate Hunter or something, and then introduce the second one right here. Right before the challenge, we see a quick phone call between Trevor and our old pal Emily, she's back, where they just plot revenge against Crystal, which is something I do like seeing. Finally, this love triangle story is evolving into something bigger and more exciting. I don't know what they have in mind, of course, but let's say I wouldn't hate it if Emily convinced Trevor to sabotage the competition and pin the blame on Crystal so that she would get fired. That would be fun. Oh, and also it seems like Emily has a dealer, but, you know, as long as she doesn't deal in absolutes, then, you know, I'm fine, I won't judge. The challenge itself was handled extremely well in my opinion. Mixing an endurance challenge with personal questions was actually pretty creative, although let's say there were a few mistakes in it, or rather inaccuracies. For instance, when Rhea asked Jake a question and the guy answered honestly, for some reason they didn't add any weights to her poll. The same thing happened with Ali's question for Rhea later on. Also, Rhea finding a way around Ali's question on whether she's just using her as an extra vote or not, that was somehow legit? For some reason? Like, technically, she did not answer. So it's not like she's such a great actress that she can fool a lie detector, she just found a way around the question, which is entirely different, but also not in the spirit of the game, I guess. Thanks to these questions, we also find out that Alec actually never loved his son, which is rather unsurprising, but what is surprising though is that he seems to care more about Connor's friendship instead. He literally met the guy last month and stopped being friends with him literally 3 weeks ago, so how can he already like him better than his son? I swear, I do like Alec as a character, but I so hope that 40 years from now or so, his son will leave him in the cheapest retirement home he can find, because he deserves it. Although Grett, in general, was amazing today, it seemed like she didn't quite understand the spirit of the game, because she kept lying and didn't even pretend she believed those lies herself, so yeah, maybe someone needed to explain the rules a little bit better. On the other hand, Jake did the exact opposite. He was on his A-game today. Not only did he learn a new move, honesty, but he even asked all the right questions. This is unrelated, but when Ali asked him whether he thinks Ashley would be proud of him or not, wouldn't you guys have liked to see a clip of Ashley actually watching the episode from the motel and saying that she is indeed proud of him? With Miriam next to her, just smiling and nodding, it just would have felt right. Nonetheless, Jake wins immunity and a spot in the final 6. Let's say that this victory was way more deserved than his last one. After the challenge, Grett decides to make a deal with Ali, agreeing to vote out whoever she wants, as long as she repays the favor later down the line. And with this, Grett actually has the best social game so far. She has the Villains Alliance with Alec and Rhea, a deal with Ali, and she just gained Jake and Connor's trust by leading them to the totem. If she isn't winning this competition, I swear I'm gonna lose it. Before the ceremony, Alec tries to get Connor to forgive him, unsuccessfully of course, as Rhea interrupts them and takes the bookworm away. Again, it's so weird seeing Alec be so honest and touchy-feely, especially with Connor, just because it's not like these two spent such a long time together or got to bond that much before, so it's just weird to see him so desperate to befriend him again. How did he grow attached to him so easily? But more importantly, why can't he do the same with his son? Right after that, Connor once more contradicts himself, first saying that he's there to win and that he couldn't care less about Rhea anymore, he's a brand new man and all, but minutes later, as he's casting his vote, he goes, "Oh, hopefully this night she'll regret everything." And he doesn't say it with anger or spite, he says it sweetly because he clearly still wants her and wants her to change, and I just can't with this back and forth. They're just as bad as Tom and Jake. At the campfire ceremony, Aiden and Rhea are on the chopping block, but because Ali just couldn't accept the fact that Aiden likes Jake more than her, Gamer Girl targets him and joins the villains, so with 4 votes against him, it's game over for Skunk Hair. And with that, we lose the last member of Team Cyan. I almost can't believe Team Magenta somehow outlasted it. Wow. Okay, so I never cared for Aiden, you guys know that, but I admit that I do like him just a tiny little bit more now, compared to his Season 2 self at least. The thing is though that I hate the way he's been used this season, because all he did only revolved around the love triangle, which again was one of the weakest and most annoying stories of the season, and because of it, he just ended up outlasting so many other campers who just deserve to stay a little more just because they had more interesting stories to tell. So let's say that I would have liked him better had he left 5 episodes ago or so. Later that night, Grett walks back to the tree Ali was using to train earlier, and letting go of her insecurities, she decides to try and do a pull-up, struggling a bit at first, but ultimately succeeding, thereby gaining a whole lot of confidence simply by challenging herself. I personally would have preferred to see her try, fail, try again, and only then succeed, but that aside, this scene was so very powerful and, in some way, pretty unique for the show. With basically no dialogue at all, and in just a few seconds, they made Grett gain like 1000 likability points, made her character so much deeper and her journey way more satisfying. I swear, this scene alone takes the entire episode to a whole new level. Overall, the episode was Grett, and Grett too, she was pretty Grett herself. The challenge was pretty awesome and the elimination very well executed, so perhaps this wasn't the best episode ever, but it is one of my favorites. However, do go ahead and share your thoughts on it in the comments down below, and of course do the same with Skunkhair. And also, make sure to say a few words on Grett as well. I feel like she might win this season, so let's start talking about her now. With that being said though, I thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!